What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another Thor WCast of high-tier Deadlock action. We are jumping into a game right away. Right at the beginning of it, thankfully. So we haven't missed much of anything.
Well played.
I know we're all waiting for that next big patch, hoping that, you know, a couple of big changes will come around, maybe some map changes, big hero and item changes, but for now we are still on this patch as we look at a major fight going on over here, but it looks like Bebop is getting just slapped around pretty low, but Ivy's the first one to fall despite Bebop looking like it was going to be him. Nice back and forth between them. But it looks like the Amber Hand take a slight lead on this particular lane through that first kill. Now, I know we've been on this patch for a little bit, but I honestly want to say I don't mind this patch too much. There's only a couple of characters, couple of items that are problematic. You know, characters whose names start with S and have a V in the name. Those characters, for example. But otherwise, I'd say this is a relatively balanced patch. Relatively. Keyword there. There's a couple standout heroes and a couple of weak heroes. Anyway, as we get into this game, we are still in the very early paces of it. So, to be honest, with the way the game currently works on this patch, it doesn't matter too much if there's a little bit of death here and there. It doesn't create that big of a disparity unless it's all the deaths in one lane, and then it'll be a huge disparity as one lane just snowballs super hard. Oh my goodness, was there a third hero over here already? Viper taking a lot of damage from 7. Here comes the fire hose of bullets that Viper is famous for, and everyone looks like they're gonna live there. I missed the McGinnis dying there. That was my bad. I was too busy looking at this lane over here on the right. We've got Hayes and her lane partner Bebop going off against the Ivy and Yamato combo. As long as Bebop is in a lane, there is always a chance for that lane to win just because of the strength of hooks. Uh-oh. Hayes getting jumped on a little? Nah, she's fine. Never mind, she's not fine. There's a hook in from the Bebop, pulling... making Hayes' life even harder. I don't know if that hook was the best idea. It only drew the Yamato closer to the Hayes and made it harder for Hayes to run away. So, you know what? Maybe the hook isn't the best spell in the game. Best spell with an asterisk for laning, I should say. Oh, I just came in here in time to see Viper's, what is that called again? Lethal Venom. Taking out that 7, lot of burst damage to an execute, and what is going on in the left lane? It's only 3.5 minutes in, guys. How did they lose this tower so fast? Or this Guardian, I should say. Mirage and Warden going to town on it. Usually, when you think of early tower pushes, you think of the McGinnis, but, wow. Wow, Mirage and Warden just annihilated their lane. Back to the right side, and I missed it again. I am so sorry. Hayes and Bebop getting themselves a double kill. Oh, Hayes is just going to pop ult and do a bunch of damage to the Guardian here. Get those fixation stacks. That being said, she also took a ton of damage, so it looks like she's going to just sacrifice herself to the tower. Geist currently sitting pretty low on health, but does have that soul exchange available to her, so there is always the possibility that the Geist just swaps her health with one of those opponents. Although they're keeping her at a pretty good distance for now. Back to the left lane. It's just Mirage and Warden abusing their lane pretty darn hard. There was a lot of burst damage onto the Mirage, but it is Mirage. He does have a restorative shot and a mystic regeneration. He'll be able to heal up no problem. Let's take a look back on the right lane. We see Bebop popping his ultimate, and it will lead to the death of the Yamato. Looking back at the middle lane, We see McGinnis did pop her ultimate. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it really connected on anything. Geist is at higher health than the last time I saw her, so doesn't seem like the McGinnis ultimate did much. Geist with a huge health swap onto 7. A great wall by McGinnis to keep them from chasing, but 7 is now a little bit hard on the HP. Moving back over to the right lane, we've got Haze going up top. Bebop with a bomb, knocking the Yamato back toward the Haze, and it's going to lead to her death. Ivy, not going to be able to do a whole lot here. Ivy is kind of weak in lane right now. In fact, Haze is just diving the Walker and damn near killing the Ivy in just a couple of seconds. Wow, that was ridiculously close. Mid lane, we've got some slowing bullets coming out onto this Viper. That means that when Viper is doing the slide and letting the fire hose of bullets out, it is going to be very, very difficult to try and get away from her. In the meantime, the right lane did have the Amber Hand take their Guardian. They are chasing the Haze down. Yamato and Ivy trying their best to get a little bit of a return kill. They took the Bebop down earlier, but it seems like Haze is just gonna be able to slip out of here. Wait, she's staying. She does have an ultimate in 5 seconds. Gonna be healing herself up a little bit. Bebop with a grab onto the Yamato, but Yamato does have an ultimate available. Pops the ultimate. Lot of extra damage resistance. And a parry onto the Bebop. That's gotta lead to a kill, right? No, instead Haze comes in, and it just leads to the Bebop and the Haze getting another double kill. This is looking tough for the Sapphire. They're already down 9k, and it's only 7 minutes in. Both of their outer lanes have been completely decimated. Another heavy melee and bomb explosion. Yamato alive with... Never mind, Yamato dead. She stayed when she shouldn't have. This Walker is about to die as well. Bebop's just gonna suicide bomb into it. Will take a death for it, but super worth... Wait a second, never mind. Life Strike, keeping him alive with a massive heal. Bombs himself, not gonna be able to kill anyone. I'm surprised that parry didn't work on with Lash, but okay. And finally, a little bit of good news in favor of the Sapphire team. They got themselves a first Guardian, but they are still down by a good 6k, and it looks like 7 might get killed. McGinnis, with a get down Mr. President maneuver, jumps in front of the bullets to save her 7. What a hero.
Someone's gonna be bleeding on the concrete, and it ain't gonna be you.
Taking a look back on this left side, Viper sneaking around the side into the Wraith and the Yamato. Yamato, lethal venom on her. She is not going to survive. Another death to Yamato. Meanwhile, it looks like Haze found Ivy, and, well, that fight goes in the favor of the Haze. Easily with a 3k advantage in her net worth. And, honestly, Ivy is just... Well, building Gun Ivy, but Ivy is kind of weak now. Gun Ivy did get nerfed pretty heftily for some reason. I honestly don't know why. Gun Ivy was not super popular, but the last patch did that a while back. Right now, we're really looking at just a little bit of a snowball forming in favor of the Amber Hand. The Sapphire team is not having a good time. And Yamato goes down again. They finally take that Guardian down at the cost of Yamato's life, so not the happiest trade for them, but uh-oh. Haze, I heard that dagger hit. Trying to finish the Lash off, is going to barely survive through the Wraith, and the Wraith will save Lash's life, I think. There is a Mirage chasing them. No, it looks like Lash is going to be alright. This is looking rough. Oh my goodness. A kill deep behind the Guardians. Oh no, this is just looking like a one-sided... Like, we're just getting buffs to spawn. It's just 10 minutes into the game. And there's already a 12k lead. That's a really bad thing for the Sapphire team. Now, it's not over or anything like that, but it's going to be difficult. Luckily for them, the urn is a comeback urn, so they should be able to capture this. That is the keyword, though, should.
I see the enemy.
It is not a guarantee. Lash diving onto this Viper with the help of McGinnis. A wall to keep Viper from going anywhere. Great catch. Will Yamato be able to deposit this urn? Not right now. There are heroes on the enemy team hiding in the area. McGinnis goes in first, tosses a turret just for a little bit of safety. A grab by the Bebop, not going to latch on to the Yamato, though. And in fact, this could be bad. Grab by the Lash, huge ultimate coming down, but there is a Warden behind them. Will it result in anything in favor of the Amber Hand? It doesn't look like it. Warden's ultimate was not enough damage. Mirage even makes his way in. So far, 3 kills in favor of the Sapphire team. A chase down, trying to get this Mirage, and it looks like he will go down, and a huge, huge comeback for the Sapphire team. Oh, that was a lot of damage. Sheesh. All right, well, here comes the Geist chasing down onto the 7. 7 will get this stun off. Geist trying to keep up with him, but it's going to be difficult after that stun. 7 goes down, and it looks like Geist will stop chasing him. All in all, a huge, huge sequence of events for the Sapphire team. Absolutely massive for them to pull the trigger on just taking the fight.
This is just a taste of
even while behind, because it was definitely early enough in the game that the lead wasn't that bad. At least I like to think generally in the earlier game, experience and levels make the difference more. And a 10k difference isn't that huge in the early game.
This is far from
Well, 10k difference isn't that huge, period, in this game. It's not that bad. Lady Geist, pretty low on the HP, but she does have her ultimate available. If she can get close to an enemy, they should basically die. Definitely hunting around. Uh-oh, on the right side, it looks like they found Bebop again. Here comes an ultimate from the Ivy, flying on over toward that mid lane. We've already got Lash hopping around. Lady Geist has already used her ultimate onto the 7. It has not killed the 7. She's hopped up into the air. She's pretty low on health now. Ivy deciding to sit up there with the Viper instead and take her down. So that does allow the Geist to get away. And finally, they get the final Guardian on the right side and open up a flex slot for themselves on the Amber Hand.
You won't stop me. You have a good
You know,
eye.
Warden and Mirage were so far ahead their lane opponents in the early game, and now they are even, if not just a little bit behind. It just goes to show that in the early game of Deadlock, you shouldn't count yourself out too early. Oh, wow. I got here just in time to see Lash land a massive drop onto the Mirage, and down he goes. Geist fighting for her life over here in the middle. And with the help of the Warden, it will not be enough to keep the Geist alive, but it will be enough to trade and get a kill on that 7. Let's try and take a little bit of stock right here. Take a quick peek at what people have got going on. Warden looks like he is going for the ultimate build, as is common on Warden. Got that Arcane Surge for a bigger AoE on the ultimate with the Majestic Leap. Always a very good combo. We got Mirage over here. He has finished Toxic Bullets, Kinetic Dash, Fortitude. So pretty standard gun build for him right now. Nothing all that surprising. Lady Geist over here is going a gun build of her own. She has grabbed Berserker, a fantastic item on Geist, because every time she casts a spell, it costs a little bit of her health, and that stacks up Berserker. Uh-oh. Looks like we've got Ivy flying on in, trying to save that Yamato, but it will not be enough. Ivy trying to kill the Geist, but doesn't get the stun, not able to land it. But it might not matter. Look at the damage coming out. Geist missing a lot of shots there, while Ivy finishes the fight with just enough health. Siphon bullets making a huge, huge difference for them. And the Sapphire team have grabbed themselves the urn and are trying to run it across the map. Haze has gone invisible to try and chase down. She does have some good mobility on her, but with a lash on top of her, I don't think she's going to live here. Nope. She tried to stop it by herself and wound up giving her life instead. Let's take a peek. Will they be able to turn this urn in? If we take a nice look around here at the setup, we have several heroes from the Amber Hand. Bebop just walking in, no fear whatsoever, is going to pull himself back to his teammates. His teammates were coming around these sides. Ivy going to have to stone form to keep herself alive. Lash ultimate latching on to only one, but it is going to push this Mirage to his death. And as the Viper jumps out to try and help, it winds up just killing the Viper. Bebop with a little bit of a hit-and-run tactic on those punches, but is going to get parried in the end and killed, and it looks like the Sapphire team should have no problem putting this urn in its place. There's only a Haze here to do anything there, and it's not going to wind up actually accomplishing much. Sapphire team absolutely turning things around after the laning stage, getting themselves some really good movements throughout the map. Haze taking a lot of damage from Wraith, a lot of damage, but fixation stacks are up now, and now the Wraith has to run for her life, or the Haze will kill her just like that. We got Mirage jumping in onto this McGinnis. Tornado holds her in place, and McGinnis will go down. Lash, let's see if he can keep himself alive. Hopping around, jumping up onto the buildings. Drops down once more, trying to hop around onto the building. Doesn't quite get himself into here. He keeps getting so close, but he can't find a place for himself to sneak away, and he will be taken down. Few return kills in favor of the Amber side in exchange for that Walker. Okay, we might have a chance to look at some items again. We see that Geist has picked up Spirit Resilience, very good item in this game, especially with 7 Lash, both on the enemy team. Heck, even against McGinnis, her turrets still do some damage without too much spirit investment. Yamato looks a lot more like a gun build or a punch build. A different build, not a spirit build, so it's not that great against her. Now then, Viper here has also picked up a Spirit Resilience, along with a lot of good gun items, a lot of early game gun items. Nothing big so far, except, I guess, Hollow Point. That's about the only thing that you can call a big item there. Bebop is going a big punch build, Life Strike, Crushing Fists, and Hunter's Aura. Also has grabbed Berserker for a little bit of extra bullet resistance, and of course the ability to trade fights. We've got Haze fighting for her life against this Ivy, will not be able to survive after getting a kill. And Haze's build hasn't really changed since we last looked at it. So she is saving up for a large item, probably Siphon Bullets. Again, probably not necessarily, but we'll see where she decides to go with that. Lash's build is looking to come together. He's got himself some nice spirit damage increase, along with a lot of mobility increase, as Lash likes to have. Grabbed by the Bebop, but I think he'll be fine. In fact, Bebop needs to run. There's an Ivy here, and this Ivy has been annihilating people. And Bebop will go down. After that really, really rough laning stage, Ivy has absolutely turned everything around and become a menace on the map. Now the highest net worth in the game, after being a part of 24 of the 29 kills on her team. That is an active Ivy. And it is a gun Ivy. Looking like, as long as you have a lead with gun Ivy, it's still pretty solid. Alright, let's take a look Wraith has a surge of power. Okay. Not something I've been seeing too often on Wraith. Every so often I see it. It can work.
Ready to lift him.
Over here we've got 7. In fact, hold on. We've got not an ult coming out from the Wraith. We got 7 building up into a, I think he's going for Power Surge, mostly, as his build. Yes, Power Surge and Static Charge have both been maxed. He's maxing Storm Cloud next. This is your Power Surge build on 7. Lots of spirit damage, lots of chase down potential coming out. We have an ultimate from the Ivy flying around. There's a stun onto this Haze, and this Haze is dead. Super duper dead. What's going on the right side here? McGinnis taking a little bit of pressure, but I think she'll be fine. She does have a Vampiric Burst. I'm sorry, I forget the names of some items once in a while. My bad. Ooh, Wraith ultimate does lead to a kill onto that Geist. Not able to get her ultimate while silenced there. Chase down to the Mirage. Wraith just going in. But it looks like a pretty even fight, if not Mirage winning, until Lash gets himself involved. Now, Mirage is trying to make them stop pushing this Walker, but I don't see it happening. I think that's a pretty bad decision by the Mirage to sit here as aggressively as he did. He did not dodge the ground strike either, and so he will pay for it with his life. We've got the Viper trying desperately to fight back against this McGinnis. Now, I think McGinnis might die. I think? Yeah, there it is. Finally, the lethal venom is enough, but the Viper is definitely going to die here with the Wraith chasing down. And down Viper will go. Let's see if maybe the Geist can get a bit of a turnaround. Lash, hit and run. Emphasis on the run right now. Uh-oh, he's going to get latched. Lash got latched, and he will die any second now. Or they'll ignore him in favor of someone else, and Lash just gets out?
New York is my city.
Really? They could have just shot him twice.
Catch with some inferior fighters.
Lash really pushing the limits, and it winds up paying off for him. And we're looking at now a 27k lead in favor of the Sapphire team. Lash just picks up Spirit Burn. So, Spirit Burn versus Mystic Reverb on Lash is a bit of a hot debate. Spirit Burn lets you farm a little bit better, but Mystic Reverb generally is the better burst damage. That being said, you can't really go wrong with either one. They're both rather good on a hero like Lash, who can very easily proc the Spirit Burn or have a massive damage that you want to reverb out. Man, surprised to see this more gun-centric build on the Yamato. Usually we see a little bit of a more spirit-centric build. This is a perfectly fine build, though. We've seen it a few times before, or something similar to it before. And as you can see, it's a lot of tank capability because Yamato naturally has a lot of resistance while in Shadow Transformation. She also has Life Strike to help her keep herself up, Colossus for a bunch of extra health, and all of this weapon damage increase from Colossus, Berserker, the Express Shot for big burst damage. This is a fairly tanky, fairly good bullet or a gun build out of this Yamato. Oh, looks like a Vampiric Burst has been finished on Ivy, and Ivy is sitting on another 6,400 right now, just about. I'll be interested in seeing what Ivy wants to buy with this money. This will be a 6,400 purchase in a moment. Let's see. I'm gonna guess Lucky Shot, maybe? Glass Cannon? Oh, plated armor. Okay, just a little more survivability. So, this does make sense. There's a lot of gun damage that can come out of the enemy team. Viper, Haze, especially Haze and stopping Fixation, Mirage and stopping the Jin's Mark. Heck, there's a gun build on Geist. Everyone's a gun build, basically. So it makes perfect sense to get that plated armor. Ivy, despite being hooked, will be perfectly fine. We've got Lash diving in, trying to get a grab with the Death Slam, but he doesn't latch onto anyone. But a massive 7 ultimate just fries a couple of heroes as they dive further into the Sapphire team's base. And it looks like they're just going to keep on chasing. Well, 7 will go down, but at this rate, it looks like the base is going to be sacrificed. And this first patron stage will more than likely be taken down by the Sapphire team. More than likely, yeah, there it goes. I wonder if they're going to try and stay. Haze will be up in a second with an ultimate, but there are no big gotcha ultimates on the side of the Amber team available right now. There's no Warden ultimate, which is usually the big thing to help them out. Geist diving in, does get a swap. Yamato popping the Shadow Transformation to keep herself alive, just barely, trying to keep herself alive. Chases down the Haze, a big grab by the Bebop, but all the while, McGinnis is just murdering this patron, and it looks like this is the end. Very well played by the Sapphire team to make a comeback after that really rough laning stage, because they were in a tough position for sure. Down 13k at the 10-minute mark is not an ideal situation to be in. But through a comeback earn and a really great team fight that they decided to set up for, they were able to bring themselves back into a winning position. And once they got themselves into a lead, they did not let go of it. Everyone just kind of kept applying pressure as best they could, and super well played by the Ivy. This Ivy was obviously the MVP of the team. 24 assists, 14 kills, most damage on the team, least deaths on the team. This Ivy did work this game. Was all over the map, constantly flying around with her ultimate, dropping in onto enemy heroes, turning 2v2s into 3v2s, and really helping out the team, which usually is something that you don't see a Gun Ivy capable of doing, but this was super well played. Well done by Gun Ivy, easy MVP on this team. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. That was a great comeback. Really entertaining. I will see you guys on the next one. Remember, if you want to watch any more Deadlock shoutcasts, then, drop a little subscribe, a like, a comment. Those kinds of things really do help YouTube and its dumb algorithm point more people towards this place. If you like what I do, I would really appreciate those things. Or if you just want to leave that view and you've already left more than likely because I'm rambling, I understand. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and thank you again for watching another Thor W cast.